When you look at the market, what do you see here? Like genuinely, just
Like, what do I see?
yeah, just no trick question. Yeah, just
Sure.
and what is a uptrend composed of? Like what is considered an uptrend? Do you know, like to exactly identify? Not just because it looks like it, but like what's the technical term of uptrend? If you don't know, it's fine. I can teach you right now. That's why I want to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, we have the low here, right? This is the lowest point of this chart here, right?
Mhm.
So let's just like turn everything off so we can like see only the candle and the structure. So we'll just turn everything off. So it's clean, right? So from this point, right? This right here, where the black line is dotted here, is
Mhm.
the lowest point of this chart right now, right? From where we're looking at least on the 90 minute,
Yeah.
right? So from that low, we make a swing high here, right?
Mhm.
And again, this was the downtrend before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, to consider to again to go back uptrend, right? What needs to happen is that we need to break the most nearest high before we dropped, which is where? Right here, right?
Mhm.
So until this price can show us that we break above here, this has no potential of even going on an uptrend. Does that make sense? Just like technical term wise, just price action wise. So again, that's just the rule of
Mhm.
price action, like how to read candlesticks and just chart wise, structure wise, right? So to go back into an uptrend from a downtrend, we need to break that previous nearest high,
Mhm.
like this. You see what I'm saying? Now we've broken above and made a higher high from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we can now start to look for a higher low. A low that's higher than the previous ones now. Because
Mhm.
again, on an uptrend, you're gonna have low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and higher high. That's gonna be the structure formation of a uptrend. You see that now, right?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? It's consistently making higher lows and higher highs, right?
Yeah.
And that's what is considered a uptrend. So now you know what that's what I meant. That's
Mhm.
the literal term of what that is.
Mhm.
And how you can like kind of spot it in the chart, right? And kind of
Yeah,
understand
identify.
exactly. Right. But again, it's very clear where, again, from the most last down, this high, we break that, right?
Mhm.
So then what can you expect since we made a higher high now?
Retest and then make.
And make a higher low, right? What do? We
Yeah.
make that higher low. So this is your confirmation, right?
Yeah.
So if theoretically, if you're looking for a long, this is your confirmation of understanding that okay, now you can look for a long.
Mhm.
To go where? Now this is your if you again, what is the idea of a uptrend? It needs to make a higher high, right?
Yeah.
So then where is your target theoretically should be? Above this high, right?
Yeah.
Because you understand that we need to make a higher high.
To break.
Because again, if we don't, then that's where the market goes like this.
Mhm.
If it failed you. Then it will go back to try now make a low. You see what I'm saying? Since we failed to push the high. In the most basic sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once it fails, then it tells you something also, right? So now that's why this can be considered a uptrend until what now? Until it's now it's not clearly making those highs anymore, right? It's fading out.
Yeah.
Structure is getting weaker now, right? Clearly. Evidently. Like evidently it was hot strong. But now the truth is like you can read that. You get what I'm something's different here.
Yeah. Validation.
Exactly. So the only way again for this to go back up here, structure works in any time frame now, the same way. So even if we now zoom in here, that's a downtrend, right? Again, to make an uptrend, what needs to happen? What I teach you just now.
You have to make a higher low.
And a higher high, right? We need to break this nearest high and make a higher high first, right? We didn't do that yet, right? So theoretically, we can come here and fail and then go back lower, yeah?
Mhm.
So we need a confirmation of that. So for that to happen is you need to wait
Mhm.
until it goes above it clearly and gaps up. Then you can now look for a higher low, right?
Mhm.
And then from this point, what would you do?
look for the
long back to here. And then again, that's how it goes back up in a uptrend like this.
right.
But again, if we can't even do that, then what does it suggest? Keep trading lower, keep shorting it. You see what I'm saying? That's the most basic way of just reading what a trend is, what a structure is.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Not even making it too complicated wise, but that's the basic reading. And then with that framework, you need to just add, the fractals that I teach you, the order flow things. But again, that's later.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? First is to read and understand the basic of basic, which are these things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, so either market can go up in an uptrend, right? And the market can go down in a downtrend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the next thing that market can do? Balance range. Okay, that's exactly, which is consolidation where market can't leave. It can't be perfect, right? It might dip a little higher and dip a little lower, but it's contained inside of this overall range, right? That's where now we call that a balance range or consolidation or accumulation. Okay, it's there's multiple words for it, whatever is comfortable for you. Accumulation or consolidation, or for me, preferred term is balance range. Okay. But either way, that's the only three-way that market could even move. You see what I'm saying? There's no other formation and shape that market can move other than those three ones. Right? And then when the market is now trending, that's where the market is now what? Imbalanced. Imbalanced. Balanced. Imbalanced. You see what I'm saying? So now there's only two types of order flow that it could create. Balanced order flow or imbalanced order flow. While it's creating those structures inside of it. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I teach you guys how to read the, volume profile and read the value. You see what I'm saying? Because now the value is going to show you where the flow is actually occurring.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Within those structures. So I understand, these days, we call this what? 3-day balance range, right? Quite literally for 3 days, we balanced out. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? And then if you look at a day like this, what is that?
Balance.
Yeah, exactly. That's an imbalanced day. That's a trending day to the downside.
Mm-hmm.
You can read that. You get what I'm saying? Now pairing the structure and the order flow together like that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The same thing here now. Today, what type of day is today? Balance range. Right? Because again, we're trading inside of this value all day. All day we're inside of this value, right? We're not leaving the value, right? Nor we're not leaving the value, right? So again, what is that?
Balance.
It's a balanced day. So in a balanced day, what do? You just trade value to value. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you shorted it earlier, then again, you're looking at outside of value to back inside of value. You see what I'm saying? So again, if you shorted, then your target has been met, right? You brought it back into the value to the value area low, so you TP. And that was right with the third 90 as well. So it was lining right with the time. Where's my ship codes? See what I'm saying? Right on third 90. Boom. But that was a good TP. And, if you wanted a long, that was a good little scalp long. Back up to where? Up to the value. Again, inside of a balance day, you just trade the value. That's it. You don't do anything more, anything less. In a trending day, you keep on pushing to the side that is trending. You see what I'm saying? That's why it keeps on trending, off of the third 90 to that direction.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Same thing goes on a trending day, right? To the upside. You know what I'm saying? You just keep on trading to the upside until the day closes. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you understand structure plus the value, how it's forming. And then you can see consistently in the market, that's all it's doing, right? It's creating, balance, imbalance, balance, imbalance, balance, imbalance, while it's making those downtrends or uptrends or those consolidations. You know what I'm saying? So you need to train your eyes what it's doing. You see what I'm saying? Then you know how to go about it.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say? Then it kind of helps you guide along what you're looking at, what kind of value you're looking at, what kind of, what is the price advertising here? Or, do I need to trade with the downtrend? Do I need to trade with the uptrend? Do I need to sit here and trade inside of this value? You know what I'm saying? But if you can understand that, then you're not going to be making big plays inside of a balance, right? And then you're not going to be making small baby plays when it's trending.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? You'll be able to capitalize a little more because you understand that versus not, versus, oh, you guessing it. So what I'm saying, it gives you a whole different perspective in the market.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So any question on that?
Mm, no, because you just made that should make a lot more sense now.
Yeah, because I mean, I try to make it easy as I
It's a
can.
simple
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
exactly. Try to I kind of try to like try to put my brain to where your understanding is,
Yeah,
type shit.
because like I did have trouble with making like putting the image in my head of what was a higher high, what was a higher low, and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we can look at more then. We can look at more examples. You know what I'm saying? So again, we can just do some drills now. Okay, this is where we're just training your eyes now. So again, what do you see? Let me just go to like a daily time frame. Right. So in a daily time frame on Solana, what do you see?
Balance range.
Balance range. Right.
Yeah.
Clear as day. This is a balance range. No, it's not uptrend, not a downtrend. Right.
Mm,
It's stuck for 2 months. Same range again and again and again. And then if you really look at the volume of that balance range, look, you see how it's literally stuck in the value
mm,
and it's just peaking out and peaking below and just trading value to value to value to value, quite literally.
mm.
Right. So in this condition, we know to just stay away from it or just wait for it to come to the value so we can try to long it again.
Mm.
Right. Or wait for it to sweep the value. So again, off the failure of the value, we can, bring it back inside of the value.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Or again, look for shorts back down to the value. You see what I'm saying? That's all you can do in this, right?
Yeah,
But just say now here. What do you see here?
the trend.
It's not balanced, right?
Mm-mm.
It broke the value. And again, how does it become a uptrend? It has to again first break the downtrend's nearest high, right? Which is right here. So again, we break that, right? So again, this is where you have the high, low,
Higher.
higher high. You see what I'm saying? Now from this point, you can look for higher low and then higher high.
So long.
Yeah, and then now since it completely broke even this structure, now it's doing a 1-2 setup. This is what I teach people, the 1-2 setup, and this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. And this is where now you start to use tools such as fibs. You grab it to the low. You seen me do this before,
Mm.
to the high, right? So now you're calculating the retracement, and you see this is your prime level for your retracement. Okay, 61%. Well, 61.8% to 78%. Okay. So that's your key level when you are looking for a retracement. When you do have a clear higher high and it's doing a 1-2. Okay. This is what we call a wave one. That's why it's called a one.
Mm.
Once it completes that, meaning once it completely breaks previous downtrend, we consider that a one. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Like that's how we identify it and kind of like call that, give it a name to it. So like, it's easier to identify.
Mm.
So now when I say 1-2 setup, that means pretty much it has broken a previous downtrend and has made a higher high. And you can look for
A retrace.
exactly. So that's like my code word. When I say 1-2, then you know exactly what to look for now. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
You know, oh shit, that's the setup that you're looking for.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So if I say, oh, Bitcoin on 90-minute, there's a 1-2 setup.
Yeah.
That means it's probably doing something close to this and you're looking for an entry. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And then from this point, right? You pull the fib. Where does it exactly come to?
Same 70, 60 versus 1.8.
Yep, it comes exactly there, right? So that's your entry, right? We're not gapping below that, right? It wicks it. The moment it wicks it, that's your entry. And your stop loss goes below here. You see what I'm saying? And then your first target is where?
That's that.
Is here. Exactly. That's your first hunt. First target. And then from this point, this is where now you can use your deviation. This is now you calculating what is the liquidation. This is a little more complicated, but again, it's very helpful to understand, okay? So this three candle here, right? You see one, two, three is the candles that push the lows, right? These lows here. This is the candles that have pushed the lows, right? So again, you're going to grab that now from the low to the high of it. And now you're going to measure the deviation to the upside. Okay. So now what this is going to show you is it's going to show you a deviation to the other direction. Okay. And you can see now -2 to 2.5 is your major target for your deviation. And you can see how perfectly it comes there, right? Boom, and it fails. And what does it do again? Another 1-2, right? Because why? We made a higher high again. We didn't just fail. We clearly made another higher high, right? So then now it's doing another 1-2. This is where fib is magical, okay? These are all calculations, understanding, structure. You have your 1-2. Watch this again. What is that again exactly coming back to? That's magical enough. And this is how I see what I'm saying. There's ways to do this shit. It's there's edge. That's what we call it, edge. It's like it repeats again and again. So it's probable for us to take that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It gives us that probability.
Give it a better example.
Exactly. So again, it wicks the golden pocket, 61%. Again, you take your entry. Where do you target again? And again, you would have made before. So if you done this here and done that, you would have made money, right? Again, if you would have just done the same thing, you made money, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's what the deviation tool and the
Exactly, exactly. And then you can see from this first deviation, do you see the -4? That's your last target, okay? Boom. And that was it. So it's all calculated. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
And you're reading it on top. You're just reading the order flow with the calculated levels. Right? And that's how you now just use basic, simple fibs and structure to understand what the hell is going on here and how to formulate something. You're able to make a plan and kind of know what you're looking at to attack. Then now you can learn how to go into the lower time frame and then take an entry off of like with the third 6, with the third 90 off the value area, which is more that's where you need to practice more of those things. But just simply reading chart, right? That's how you can do it just with the price itself. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So here, there's nothing you can do here, right? There's no 1-2, there's no nothing, right? But now, if you look at Bitcoin, what does it look like? Now, from all this downtrend, right? We started to do something, right? We even broke this previous high. So now it starts to make higher highs, right? So if we do drop, we can expect a higher low. Does that make sense? And do a 1-2. So Bitcoin can potentially offer a 1-2 setup here. You see what I'm saying? We can watch these levels for a 1-2. And if it wicks here and holds here, then that'll be a nice setup again, no? And target this high. You see, yeah, it's making sense. Yeah, since we have all the criteria now, we've made those higher highs. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I've been saying, let us show us something, and it did show us something. So if it show us something, then we can formulate something.
Yeah.
Does that
Like
make
have a
sense?
plan.
Yeah, have a plan, what to kind of look for and kind of expect and kind of have, ways around it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. But